Hey, you amazing friends. I'm with the amazing Juanita Smith in beautiful Bondi. How are you today, Juanita?
I'm fantastic, Ed. How are you?
Now, I'm going to say you live on one of the top beaches in the world. What's it like living in Bondi, Juanita?
I love it. It's been amazing. We've lived here since my eldest daughter was 4 and she's now 17. And she went to school just across the road and we just come down every day. So it's amazing living here.
It's a pleasure. I've made the journey up from Sydney now, from the city I should say. Now, you are one of Australia's top addiction specialists. You're a Master Hypnotherapist. Tell us about that, Juanita.
So what would you like to know, Ed?
Well, I want to know, I suppose, two things. In fact, first question, I'm going to ask you a general question. How did you get to the top? That's the first question. Because you are in the top. You're very well known. How did you make it to the top? What did you actually do and how did that happen?
I created a niche of quit smoking and I had a very, very good treatment for quit smoking, and it developed from there because it was so effective straight away. All my clients were referring me to their friends and family and colleagues, and from there people were coming to me for other addictions. So, anything, any addiction from nail biting, thumb sucking to drugs, alcohol, shopping addiction. So anything. So addiction is anything that you're doing that's out of your control. That's an unconscious behaviour that you're doing repeatedly, automatically, obsessively, and you can't stop. It's out of your control.
And it's funny actually talking about addictions, and this is a bit of a funny topical one, but I was actually reading up on Winona Ryder. You know, the actress from the 90s, Winona Ryder?
Yes.
And she had a shoplifting addiction, right. And she actually got treated for that. I went and double checked, right?
Yes.
And quite a few people in Hollywood have suffered from shoplifting addiction.
Yes.
Yeah, now, this is a layman's view. Is that the sort of the adrenaline rush you get when you steal? Is that the sort of, people get addicted to crime? Yeah. How does that all work? I'm very curious.
I think it's the same as any addiction or unwanted habit. The reason you create the addiction or the unwanted habit in the first place is because you get something positive out of it. It's a feel-good thing, whatever it is. So, I mentioned earlier I work with a lot of smokers. Even that started off as a feel-good thing, and you might wonder, well, how on earth is that a feel-good thing? It tastes awful, it makes you sick. So everyone that comes to me, they created the habit, usually when they were a teenager, because they got something positive out of it. Yes, it may have made them feel sick. Yes, their head may have spun. It may have tasted awful. But they only did it again and repeated that action because they got something out of it. Maybe they felt cool. Maybe they thought it was a good look. Maybe they wanted to be part of the crowd, like the peer pressure. So people create a habit because they're getting something positive out of doing that action. And so shoplifting, what positive would you get out of that? Maybe it's different for Winona Ryder compared to someone else. Everyone might have a different reason on an unconscious level, but maybe it's just the thrill of doing something naughty and getting a buzz out of it and the adrenaline for sure.
Wow,
yeah.
Fascinating one, fascinating. So I want to ask you, with addictions, how do you actually help people crack addictions? You do every day. Now,
Yes.
You're a Master Hypnotherapist, you're one of the top in the country. How do you actually help someone crack their addiction? What's the process? What actually happens in that scenario?
Yes, okay, well, there's, first of all, you need to discover, is it just a deeply ingrained habit through repetition? Or is it a symptom of something deeper going on? Because sometimes people come and see me, like, for example, alcohol. Someone might see me for alcohol and it's just become a habit. For the last 20 years, they've come home, opened a bottle of wine, and drank a few glasses of wine every night, and it's just become such a ritual and so habitual that when they try not to do it anymore, it's so ingrained they've got no control over it. So that's just a habit. And now other people might come to me for alcohol and the reason they're doing it is to self-medicate. Maybe it makes them feel relaxed because they suffer from anxiety, or maybe they're just feeling depressed and it numbs that feeling. So there's different approaches depending on the person. So if someone was coming to me and it's a deeper issue, we'd have to work on that deeper stuff through hypnotherapy. And if someone came to me and it was just a habit, we break the habit on an unconscious level. Now, if you try and do that, by the time people come and see me, they've tried to do that for themselves through willpower for sometimes decades. They've tried to overcome something through willpower, but your conscious mind's only 5% of your mind and your unconscious mind's 95% of your mind. And it's very hard to compete with that unconscious programming. It can be done when you've got an unwanted habit, you created that patterning and did the repetition to install it. You can create a different habit, a habit without, a different action. If you repeated the different action over and over again, you can create a new habit free of that habit, if that makes sense. But it's a lot of willpower, a lot of mindfulness, and it can take time. Hypnotherapy is a shortcut. We can go in literally automatically just break that deeply ingrained habit because we're working directly with the unconscious mind.
Yeah. It's funny, I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm a nerd. I'm a Microsoft LinkedIn fan, right? And I'm a nerd, I'm into technology. I kind of see, and I think you even referenced this, in a way, hypnotherapy is like hacking into a computer. You basically, in a way, hack into someone's subconscious mind, with their permission, of course, but you're positively hacking into someone's mind to basically remove poor parts of the program. Is that metaphor stacking up in this case, that analogy working?
Yeah, absolutely. I use that metaphor quite a lot sometimes when I explain what we're going to do. And with their permission, I just wanted to add, absolutely, like, of course you're getting the permission, but you can't actually make someone do something they don't want to do anyway, because it's not mind control. But yeah, absolutely, I use the computer analogy quite a lot. Like, you're downloading, our unconscious mind is created from downloads. Or, everything we've experienced in the past, we've just downloaded into the unconscious mind. That's computer analogy.
Oh, well said.
Yeah.
And so I was going to ask you, so if someone's out there, and now obviously they should get into contact with you and talk about their addictions, and they can do it privately and confidentially, of course.
Yes.
If someone's not quite ready to talk to you yet and wants to give it a crack themselves, they can buy your book or reach out to you, or in other ways, can't they? What's a great place for people to get started?
Definitely read my book so they understand what's going on. And there are, there's a lot of tips there in how to manage an unwanted habit or addiction yourself as well. And as I said, just stepping back and just observing and trying to make a different choice, which takes willpower and takes mindfulness and takes time. But at least you've got that awareness. Or even just, if you're not quite ready, even if you just want to chat, I do offer 20-minute courtesy consultations on Zoom if you just wanted to chat. And the wonderful thing is you don't have to talk too much either if you don't want to as well. So, some of my clients don't feel comfortable talking, but we can still get amazing results.
It's a pleasure. And I know a lot of our clients use you and they love you. I just want to say, Juanita, I know you're a busy lady. I just want to say thank you for the interview. Everyone like, share and comment. Juanita, can we just get a quick closing thought from you, whatever comes to your mind for our audience around the world?
Yeah. Okay, so if there's something that is not working for you, that you feel you're out of alignment with, a good thing to do is just become aware of that and step back as an observer and observe that. And you're very powerful. You can actually make a different choice, to have a different thought or do a different action. So that awareness is the first step.